In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use the cable cast-on technique to cast on stitches for 1x1 rib. This is my favourite cast-on technique as it creates a beautifully smooth finish. I'm going to start by making a slip knot. This will act as the first stitch. Now I'm going to take my needle and place the slip knot onto the needle and tighten it. I want to make sure that I've got the ball of yarn at the front of my work and the tail at the back so that it doesn't get confusing when I start working. I'm going to take my needle and work the first stitch as though I was about to work a completely regular knit stitch. So I'm going to take my needle and insert it knitwise from the bottom of the first stitch. Wrap the yarn around the right needle. Pull the loop through. And now instead of slipping that stitch from the left needle off like I would with a knit stitch, I'm going to pull this yarn through and I'm going to pop that onto the left needle, creating my second stitch. So now I have a purl stitch and a knit stitch. Now I'm going to take my hand from the back of the work and slide my needle between those two stitches. I'm going to now wrap this yarn around the needle, pull the loop through to the back, pull it through, and place that new stitch onto my left-hand needle. I want to make sure I don't tighten too much as I'm going to need to get my needle between those two stitches. Here you can see that this yarn is facing towards the left. That shows that I just created a purl stitch. Now I'm going to create a knit stitch by going between the last two stitches, wrapping the yarn around the needle, pulling the yarn through, and placing that new stitch onto the left-hand needle. Here you can see that I just created a knit stitch by the way the yarn hangs down rather than to the left as it did with the purl stitch. Now I'm going to take my hand from the back and I'm going to insert my needle between the last two stitches, wrap the yarn around the right hand needle, pull the yarn through and place the new stitch onto the left needle. Now from the front for a knit stitch between the last two stitches, wrap the yarn, pull it through and place the new stitch onto the left needle. Continue working like that, following the same sequence until you have the desired number of stitches on the needle, making sure to end with a knit stitch. Now when I begin working my 1x1 rib stitch, I'll start from this side where the first stitch will be a knit stitch and the last stitch at the end will be a purl stitch. And that is the cable cast on technique for 1x1 rib.